The sun gazing experience starts a half hour before the sun rises each day. I throw in some clothes and find a location where there's an accurate and true sunrise. Living near a mountaintop, there's a cornfield near my home which has a perfect spot for viewing the sunrise. I get on my bike and ride about a quarter mile to the site and prepare to sun gaze. Hi, it's Ted, and you're watching Medical Qigong 101, specializing in everything relating to energy medicine and medical Qigong therapy. In this video, I'll demonstrate sun gazing for 15 minutes. I'll discuss how to sun gaze safely and explain the numerous life-giving benefits of sun gazing. I'll also go over the energetic effects that sun gazing has on the body, giving a Qigong or Daoist explanation of how sun gazing affects the body. Lastly, I'll go over the possible pitfalls and dangers of sun gazing if not practiced safely. First, start in a standing Qigong posture. Your feet are shoulder width apart, your knees are slightly bent, your hips are relaxed, your spine is straight, your armpits are hollowed, your sacrum is rolled under slightly, your shoulders, arms, and hands are relaxed, and the tongue touches the upper palate gently. Practice natural breathing, inhaling gently through the nose as your abdomen rises, and exhale slowly as the abdomen falls. Next, visualize tree roots extending from the bottom of the feet deep into the earth, connecting to the earth chi below you. Feel the earth chi gently rising up the legs into the lower dantian just below the navel. Start the sun gazing by staring directly at the sun for just 10 seconds on the first day. Then increase it by 10 seconds each day after that. Your goal should be to work up to 10, 15, or even 20 minutes straight of staring at the sun directly at sunrise each day. Some teachers suggest working up to 45 minutes of sun gazing, but I wouldn't suggest going past 20 minutes unless you're highly trained and experienced in meditative practices and Qigong. The reason we root the earth chi at the beginning is so we can connect to both yin and yang, sun and earth energy, the sun being yang in nature and the earth being yin in nature. You can wear shoes, but going barefoot is optimal. Standing or walking barefoot on the ground is called earthing, and it helps you connect to the earth energy and nourish the yin to balance the yang, which I'll talk a little bit more about later. The greatest benefit you'll notice with sun gazing is the increased energy levels in your body. The sun is such a powerful source of energy that gives our entire planet life. The eyes are the doorway to the brain, and staring at the sun allows us to draw significant amounts of energy into the body. When I first started a disciplined practice of sun gazing back in February 2016, I definitely felt the increased energy. It wasn't a jittery, hyper type of feeling that you might experience after drinking coffee or eating sugar. It was a calming kind of energy. The best way to describe it is that I just never got tired. I woke up easier in the morning, and my body needed less sleep every day. The other thing I learned about sun gazing is that it was supposed to be good for your eyesight and could even improve your eyesight. I found that to be especially true as my vision became sharper and I rarely use my eyeglasses anymore. I wouldn't say that my vision is perfect, but there's been a substantial improvement. To this day, whenever I feel my vision getting a bit dulled, I always remind myself to get out there and do some more sun gazing. And when I do, my vision sharpens up again. It's pretty amazing. So sun gazing is excellent for your vision despite what we are taught, that sunlight is dangerous and can negatively affect the eyes. When practicing at sunrise, the UV index is 0 to 1 at most, and it's very safe to look at the sun at this time. Sun gazing increases the secretion of serotonin in the brain. Serotonin is the feel-good hormone that affects the mood. Increased levels of serotonin can help depression, enhance the mood, boost energy, and help relieve pain in the body. The less sunlight we experience on a daily basis, the more apt we will be to feel depressed, anxious, tired, and sad. In fact, there's an actual disease related to not getting enough sunlight called SAD, seasonal affective disorder. Think of our bodies like plants that thrive with sunlight. I would guess that the fruits and vegetables growing in my garden would get pretty depressed as well if they stopped receiving sunlight. So practicing sun gazing in the winter can be especially beneficial to those suffering with seasonal affective disorder and depression. Another benefit of sun gazing is that it stimulates the pineal gland. The pineal gland is an important endocrine gland located in the center of the brain and is stimulated by sunlight. Research shows that the pineal gland usually begins to shrink at about the ages of 55 to 60, but sun gazing has been shown to not only slow down the shrinkage, but actually increases the size of the pineal gland. Energetically speaking, the pineal gland is connected to the third eye and the sixth chakra. From a Qigong or Daoist perspective, this area in the brain is called the upper dantian. Practicing meditative exercises in Qigong to stimulate the upper dantian can lead to spiritual benefits like increased intuition, psychic abilities, and the gift of vision. Sun gazing has a powerful effect on the pineal gland in the upper dantian and can enhance these abilities, thus improving one's ability to heal others. Another amazing shift you'll likely experience if you practice sun gazing for over 3 months is that your cravings for junk food will diminish. In fact, your desire for food will lessen altogether, as the body is literally shifting to a different fuel source. Part of the reason human beings crave sugar, coffee, energy drinks, and other stimulants is because our energy, or qi, is deficient, and we crave these things because they boost our yang qi. When you practice sun gazing, your desire for food will slowly evaporate. I found this to be very true because after 4 months of practice, my appetite for food became almost non-existent. I still ate out of habit, but found that I could easily skip meals with no ill effects to my energy levels or overall health. The man who popularized sun gazing, Hira Ratan Manek, known simply as HRM, went months and even years with little to no food. He was supervised by teams of researchers on multiple occasions to prove this fact. Once in 1995 in India, where he lived on only sunlight and water for 211 days. Then in 2000, he fasted for 411 days under the constant supervision of a team of international doctors. Lastly, he was studied for 130 days by a team of neurologists at the University of Pennsylvania in Philadelphia. Numerous others have been documented to do the same, and these people have been called Breatharians, living on only sunlight, qi, and water. I'll cover breatharianism in another video. Okay, so now let's talk about the dangers and possible side effects of sun gazing. As with anything we do in life, there are dangers and side effects to practicing sun gazing if done incorrectly. The most important part of practice is that you only look at the sun during the first hour of day at sunrise or an hour before the sun sets. You can check online or ask Siri the exact time of sunrise in your area to be sure. After the first hour after sunrise, you'll find it very difficult and even uncomfortable to look at the sun at all. I believe this can be very damaging to your eyes. If you're a person who's never spent much time outdoors or avoids sunlight exposure altogether, you may notice some mild discomfort or eye strain, or maybe even some mild headaches with sun gazing at first. Just take things slowly and even take a day or two off if necessary. But as your eyes adjust, you'll be fine. Think of it the same way as if you were starting a workout routine in the gym for the first time in months or even years. It's quite usual to have a lot of soreness the first days after your workouts. From a Qigong or energetic perspective, the main concern with sun gazing is possibly creating an excess yang condition in the body. This could be caused by practicing too much or too quickly, or by sun gazing at inappropriate times of the day. Excess yang symptoms might display as heat in the body, sweating, red tongue, fast pulse, headaches, hyperactivity, or maybe even some anxiety. Remember, sun gazing is a very powerful method to quickly enhance yang qi in the body, so it's essential to balance the body by adding yin nourishing techniques to your sun gazing practice. This is why it's always suggested to practice exercises like earthing, or simply extend imaginary tree roots from the bottom of your feet into the ground at the beginning of your sun gazing practice. Or you can do both, practice barefoot and extend tree roots for added yin nourishment. As you notice, I chose to wear shoes today because it was cold and the ground was rocky. Sun gazing at the beach in the summer is perfect because you can sink your feet into the sand during your sun gazing practice and walk on the beach barefoot for a long period after you're done. Adding the microcosmic orbit at the end of your sun gazing practice also helps balance and regulate yin and yang energies in the body. There's an interesting story that demonstrates the powerful effects of staring at the sun, which demonstrates both the side effects it may cause, but also the benefits at the same time. It goes back to the 1980s, where a sun-gazing teacher was conducting a 2-day seminar out west. At one point, early in the first day of the seminar, a man in the audience stood up and identified himself as a medical doctor and soundly berated the teacher for recommending such a dangerous practice. Before the seminar leader could respond, an elderly man in the audience arose and asked to speak, identifying himself as a veteran of the Korean War. He said he had worn glasses for much of his life and had been held as a POW by the Koreans for about 9 months near the end of the Korean War. At some point early in his imprisonment, an obviously sadistic but curious medical doctor at the prison camp had selected 10 men. This man was one of the 10, and forced them to stare at the sun for several hours per day, including high noon, every single day. If a prisoner resisted or looked away or closed their eyes, guards would beat them. So prisoners risked death if they refused to stare at the sun. While the former POW reported that it was extremely unpleasant sitting and staring at the sun for several hours a day, almost non-stop, and that he and the other prisoners all developed massive headaches and neck aches at times, none apparently experienced any long-term negative effect with their vision or their eyes. Furthermore, he reported that each man in the group who had previously worn glasses shortly discovered that their vision had drastically improved and that they no longer needed to wear glasses. The ex-POW narrating the tale told the class that he had never since needed glasses, and he was now in his 70s, and his eyesight was still perfect. The medical doctor who had been railing against the premise of the class sat down quietly. A few hours later, a relatively long sun-gazing session engaged in by the entire class yielded none of the much-feared specters of blindness or eye damage, much to the chagrin of the doctor who had earlier spoken out. I found this story on an online forum related to sun gazing. Although I can't verify the story is 100% accurate, I did find the forum to be well put together by a research scientist, and I highly recommend. If you have any questions about sun gazing, interest in learning more, or just simply have doubts about sun gazing, this forum will answer any of your questions, and I'll put a link in the description box below. In any case, if this story is true, it goes to show you how amazingly powerful sun gazing can be to the human body, and that we may have found a new way to save our eyesight and put a lot of eye doctors out of business. No offense to my friends who are eye doctors. And again, I'm not telling you this story to encourage you to stare at the sun at all during the middle of the day. I'm simply showing that if people can practice such an extreme version of sun gazing in such a dangerous fashion and live to tell about it and show health benefits, then staring at the sun for a few minutes in the early morning when the UV index is 0 should be extremely safe. Scientist Dr. Jacob Liberman, a pioneer in the field of light medicine, observed that UV light from the sun is required to support life and maintain a healthy immune system. He found that the chemical composition of chlorophyll in plants and the hemoglobin in humans was extremely similar, and that humans respond to sunlight much like plants respond to sunlight. Chlorophyll absorbs sunlight in individual packets or quanta called photons. Research conducted on sunlight absorption has demonstrated that sunlight travels into the brain, invigorating its energetic capacity. This light stimulation can create an increased amount of photocurrent to be transferred to 4 areas of the brain: the brainstem, the cerebral cortex, the limbic system, and the hypothalamus. The practice of sun gazing is not a crazy New Age phenomena. It's been practiced by various cultures for thousands of years, including the Native Americans, the Hindus, the Daoists, the Mayans, Aztecs, and Incas of South America, and the ancient Egyptians. When you first start your practice, keep in mind that there will be days where it might be cloudy or rainy and you won't be able to sun gaze. It's okay, just resume on the next sunny day, adding 10 seconds from the previous session. So I'm finishing up the 15-minute sun gazing routine by closing the session and rooting the qi to the lower dantian. Thanks so much for watching, and I'd love to hear your opinion and thoughts about what you think about sun gazing. Is it something you believe is helpful, or do you still have doubts or think it's dangerous? Also, check out our other numerous videos on Qigong and energy medicine. I'll be sure to post an added video on earthing and how to gather yin qi into the body. And I plan to post a video on Breatharianism and how Qigong and sun gazing can be a great tool in that pursuit.